Hello and welcome to Women's Empowerment Month, initiated by the MIS Student Council. My name's Sarah Pritchard. I am a senior school and middle school science teacher, and I'm here to talk about STEM and why it is important for women to be involved in STEM. First of all, a shout out to the MIS Student Council, who do a brilliant job at organising events throughout the MIS community in the school calendar, whether it's just an event to bring people together or whether it's raising awareness. So I'm back for the second year in a row to participate in the Women's Empowerment Month of January. But this year, my presentation is going to be very different from the one I did last year. So this year, I'm going to talk about STEM. STEM is a faculty made of 4 topics: science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Now, you might be looking at this and thinking, all right, not really my thing. Fair enough, I'm not here to convert you. But if it is your thing, then I would like to encourage females to spend some time looking into a career in STEM, because it's an initiative that has got lots of resources to try to help women make careers in one of those topics or multiple topics. So why is STEM important? Well, STEM is male dominated at the moment, which means women lose out in a few vital areas of technological advancement. So I have 3 examples to run you through. First of all, is seatbelts in cars are predominantly designed for men's safety, and that is because there are many crash dummies for men in the simulations, but not many, if any at all, for women. And the UK, US, and I think it was France have reported they now have a female crash dummy, but unfortunately, every woman better be the exact same proportions because they only have that one, and the rest are all based on male physiques. Secondly, the stab vests and other personal protective equipment are designed on the average male proportions. So, for example, females in the UK police force have complained that the stab vests restrict them from using other equipment while they're doing their job. So sometimes they've even taken them off and put themselves in a lot of danger. One woman reported that she had to have a breast reduction because of the soft tissue damage that it was doing to her body. And again, it's because the stab vests are not designed to fit the female physique. Third is not so life-threatening, thankfully. Females are reported to suffer more from cyber sickness after using virtual reality headsets than males. I'd have to do a bit more research into this, but it's something to do with the female peripheral vision in coordination with the rest of our body. That means that when we've, for example, got the VR headset on and on a roller coaster, the two just seem disorientated and it ends up in motion sickness, whereas their male counterparts suffer from this in far fewer occasions. So, women can be a part of STEM. I hope nobody feels inhibited by the fact that it's not a female work environment, because we all can do it. Last year, I focused heavily on how female scientists and mathematicians have helped shape our world today with their unique discoveries. So this year, I would like to address the areas of technology and engineering by including women who have used or improved the use of technology. So I would like to start by very briefly going back in time with Bertha Benz. Now, she is the wife of Carl Benz, who was the first person to put an automobile in production, thanks to his wife. Now, full credit to Carl, he was the inventor, he was the automobile genius, but he did not know how to market to the public. So Bertha decided to take a road trip, which proved that you can really get around in one of these vehicles easily and much faster than with a horse. So she went around, and it wasn't a short road trip, it was 106 kilometres all in all. Sometimes she would take her sons with her, sometimes she would visit her mom, but it really caught the attention of the public. And this is what put the automobile into production. Without her, this would have been a much slower, much more held back process, because people could see how this beautiful piece of engineering could be really useful to the average day person. Moving a bit further in time to the 70s, we have Michel Mouton, a rally car driver, where we see that the world of racing cars is not only a man's game. Michel Mouton was considered one of the best rally car drivers in the world by the time the 80s came around. I have a couple of minute video clip just to introduce Michel Mouton and who she is and all the battles she had with sexism. So this was a story that inspired me, and that's why I wanted to include it in the presentation.
Mouton was born in Grasse, France in 1951. She was first introduced to the concept of racing cars at 14 years old, although her first proper foray into rallying came in 1973, not as a driver, but as a co-driver. It was then her father who suggested that maybe she should get behind the wheel of a car, because, you know, live your life through your kids, right? After competing in regional events throughout France in 1973, Mouton made a World Rally Championship debut in 1974, finishing 12th on the Tour de Corse. Naturally, men throughout the paddock could not cope with the concept of a woman beating them in a car.
Oh, how I say, incredulous.
Rumours abound Mouton was running an illegal engine, but sure enough, it was perfectly legal. She was later crowned the French champion and European ladies champion, and by now some of you anoraks will be saying,
No, she's not a racing driver, she's a rally driver.
well, to answer that criticism, Mouton competed in the 24-hour of Le Mans in the 2-litre prototype category with Christine Dacremont and Marion forming an all-female lineup in 1975. And you can curb your prejudices because they won their class. Mouton's performances in the rain were vital to making this happen, yet elected not to pursue a career on the closed circuit. Nonetheless, her results attracted attention from the likes of Alf and Fiat France. She achieved a moderate level of success with Fiat on the world stage from 1977 to 1979. However, in 1980, Audi Sport signed her to the WRC program for the 1981 season. Now, as you could imagine, there was a fair amount of criticism with regards to her signing. This, coupled with her co-driver being Fabrizia Pons, some of the comments being thrown around almost eradicated any faith one would have had in humanity. But this all changed at Rally Portugal, where Mouton won 7 stages and finished 4th overall, despite experiencing electrical gremlins throughout the rally. She also performed strongly in Greece and in Finland. But the real breakthrough came in San Remo. 1981 World Rally Champion, Ari Vatanen, proclaimed,
Never can, nor will I lose to a woman.
well, guess what? Mouton and Pons took their first rally win, beating out their male rivals and shutting up the critics. And I bet that hurt them, because
Okay, so good on Michel Mouton for fighting to live out her passion as a rally car driver, despite all the sexism she did have to face from some of her male counterparts. Now, moving to the modern age, we've got Lemi Fried. She is an electrical engineer, founder and CEO of Adafruit Industries. She wanted to make building electronics at home, such as overhauling old laptops, building LCD displays, etc., easier by selling the tools and the equipment you would need. So she promoted sort of like a DIY fix up your old machine, and that's pretty sustainable. So it's a good venture to go into, and people caught onto it. They loved it, just fixing around their old machines to make them run for a little bit longer. Now, what I really like about this, which actually touched me, was Ada is the start of all of her business products, because it's a homage to Ada Lovelace, which was an engineer that I talked about in my presentation last year, who invented the first algorithm. So she obviously had a lot of respect for Ada Lovelace to put her as a part of her business name. So good on her for that, and good on her for turning from an electrical engineer to now a CEO of a multi-million-dollar company. Lastly, I'm going to end on a little message that I would like to give you, which is called mixing the signals. Unfortunately, this woman who I'm about to show you did not do so well at promoting equality in car racing. And car racing is just the subject. It doesn't matter what the actual subject is. But what she said really did slow the progress down of equality. Karma Jordan could have really pushed equality forward as a modern day racer, and she had a lot of male support around her, but then she made a huge mistake by mixing the signals to her male colleagues and saying this. Just a short clip.
Let me start this video off, if I may, with Carmen Yorda. Bear with me, please. For those of you unaware, was a racing driver who competed in series such as Formula 3 and GP3 in the 2010s. She was also signed to the Lotus Formula 1 team as a development driver from 2015 to 2016. To the untrained eye of the average earthling, this would be considered a fantastic feat, and a key step forward to helping get female drivers back onto the Formula 1 grid. But it wasn't quite that way. I'll explain this in another video because I'm just going to go off on a tangent here trying to explain what this was all about. But the point is that in 2015, Yorda voiced her approval of a separate championship for women, and this is what she said.
It's not fair that women have to compete in the same championship as men because we're never going to become world champion, and I think that women deserve that chance.
Oh yeah, Carmen?
Oh dear, Carmen Yorda. I don't know if I pronounced her name right just now, but yeah, Carmen Yorda has mixed the signals. Women do want equality, women are fighting for it, but we have to make it clear what our end goal is in order to get all the support from our male counterparts around us. So giving them a little bit of a mixed signal by saying, well, women are never going to be world champions, so why even try? Is sadly things that put us back a little bit when it comes to getting equality, whether it's in car racing or whatever. It does have a knock-on effect on other things. So hopefully you learned something from my presentation. Even better if it inspired you to pursue a career in STEM. But most of all, I hope you feel that you have no inhibitions. That means you feel prevented from going into any of these areas because you can do it. Thank you very much for listening.